We are talking all about positivity and reprogramming the mind. I think that this is one of the most important topics because everything starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought. And so often we have no idea of what's going on inside our head. But we do, because we can look outside of us and it's manifesting in our lives. I hope this is making sense. Okay, so we've all, including myself, we've all struggled with this whole idea of how do I get this dialed in so it moves me forward towards my goals. It moves me forward towards my mission. It continues to move me forward towards a movement and doing that. So thank you all for being here and being with me today. This is cool. So here's a couple things that I'd love us to start this off with before I get to a framework that I think you're going to love. I'm going to give you a framework. I'm going to give you 9 anchor points to do this and make that happen. But one of the things that I have heard through the years, is find someone that's doing what you want to do and model what they do. How many have heard that? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong, at least in my estimation. Here's why. I can do what others do. That doesn't mean I will have what others have. What I actually need to model is not the doing. It's the thinking. I would rather sit down with someone and say, hey, what were you thinking? Is parenting. I mean, I remember asking my son, what were you thinking? And I got asked that a lot too as a child. But the reality is that when we model their thinking, we can duplicate their doing. Does that make sense? And so what we need to consider is this, because the fact is, if we look at, and we'll bring it back to money a little bit, but if we look at Warren Buffett, it's not what he did that has made him one of the wealthiest men alive, one of the best investors alive. It's how he thought that made him do the things he did. I would rather have a conversation around, hey, dude, not that I would call Warren Buffett dude, what are you thinking? What did you think when you made that investment? What was it that caused you to say yes? What was it that caused you to say no? What were you looking at? Because that's what we see out there in people's lives is not the cause of their result. It's the effect of the cause. The cause is the thinking. The cause is in here. And when we start to master that, that's where we start to think this through. Let me know, what is that? Tell me what that is. Yeah, it's an acorn. It's an acorn. Okay. Now, is it a tree or is it an acorn? Or is it both? Because here's the thing. What does this acorn need to actually grow? Because we need to understand that if I look at this as an acorn, what does it need to grow? It's the seed and the DNA of a tree. Absolutely. But what does it need to grow into that tree? What do we need to give it? Yeah. Sun, soil, water, nurturing, an environment, okay? Space, time, all those things. But here's the thing. If we don't give it the right beliefs, if we don't give it the right environment, if we don't give it the right space, if we don't give it the right time, it doesn't ever become that. If we see ourselves as an acorn, when we're trying to be an oak tree, this is when we start to see I mean, an acorn can be a oak tree with imposter syndrome. Okay? They don't see themselves as that. And so if we treat someone else or ourselves in that capacity, what do they see? What do they feel? What do they come out of? And my point is that as we start to look through these eyes, it becomes important for us to realize that we actually are both. We actually are a little bit of an acorn, always the potential to grow, and a whole lot of an oak tree. This comes from Aristotle's final form theory. Aristotle has the four causes, and he talks about his final form theory. And if it is alive, it will tend to move to its final form. It will do the things to do that. But in order for us to do that, we need to see ourselves in our final form. In our final form. Okay? So we've got to look at this, because too often we spend our time focusing on the fact that we are an acorn. And we can't see ourselves through or to the point of growing into that full potential. And this is where we start to look at things and say, gosh, how do I adjust my thinking to look at this? Because we actually are both in that process. And the space between the acorn and the oak tree is the becoming of who you were meant to be. Let me say that again. The space between the acorn and the oak tree is in the becoming of who you are meant to be. Okay? And the way we get there is having the awareness around the potential that you have, the potential that we are in the acorn, yet honoring the ultimate final form of the oak tree we're meant to be. Hopefully that makes sense to you.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.